So the Saturday, April the 12th, in the year 2025, it's just around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's around 2:23 p.m. here in Queens, very overcast, gloomy, with a bit of light drizzle. Had a couple of horrible incidents here. I'm referring to that helicopter that went down in Hudson River in New York. 6 people lost their lives. The couple with the 3 children, along with the pilot. The pilot apparently is a black American from Chicago. According to his wife, he only moved to New York 2 weeks ago. The pilot is also a former veteran, a Navy SEALs veteran. I guess the FAA, they're going to be doing a lot of investigation into that disaster. And then there was also a small plane that crash landed in South Florida in the vicinity of the interstate highway. 3 people lost their lives. There was a person in the car who got injured from that plane crash. So you'll find in the comments people making statements about the number of near misses, helicopter incidents and airline incidents and near misses. And some people are saying that they don't want to fly. Or some of them are probably saying, well, if they had a choice to travel by some other mode of transportation other than flying. Anyhow, my focus today is on the VP Bar Jagdeo's last press conference last Thursday. That press conference went for about approximately 2 hours and 43 minutes. To me, that is a record. I've been watching the VP's press conferences from last year, so as to make content for this channel, and easily is the longest. It's probably a record. His press conference would normally last around 2 minutes, 2 hours, 5 minutes, 2 hours, 6 minutes. But last Thursday, for me, that's a record, 2 hours, approximately 2 hours and 43 minutes. So my favorite part of the press conference was the question and answer segment. So we had Culture News, Starbucks News, Dennis the Menace. When I say Dennis the Menace, there are ways, I don't mean it in a derogatory way. I use the word menace because Dennis, when he's in the mood, can be a menace to both the opposition leader press conference as well as the VP's press conference. So when he's in the mood, he can be a menace to both sides. As I looked at them peppering the vice president with questions, I noticed no questions with the Mohammeds. So I said, okay, great. It seems as though we're going to have a Mohammed-free press conference today. Lo and behold, I was brought right down back to earth when Carla Jones, who has a Monday to Friday YouTube podcast, started the ball rolling about the Mohammeds. And then the next incoming batsman, the self-professed realist thing from Guyana, Guyanese critic, he came with some bouncers, all questions with the Mohammeds. In fact, I would want to say the last half of that press conference can be labeled as keeping up with the Mohammeds. But the video that I am featuring here in connection with the Mohammeds is when I was going through Facebook and I saw a post from Mohamed's sister, I should say Azudin Mohamed's sister, HANA. And she made a post. she was very much attended by, very much upset about the VP calling her father a notorious liar. You're going to see that in the video. That is not my words. And you're going to hear how Azadin responds to some of the allegations made by the vice president. I also noted that 25,000 pensioners in Guyana will be getting a one-off pension. I'd just like to give a quick breakdown again for those pensioners who are who normally watch my my YouTube. There's a quick something here in terms of contributions. If you have between 500 to 549 contributions, you're going to get a one-off payment of $260,000. If you have contributions between 550 to 599, you're going to get $390,000 one-off payment. If you have 600 to 699 contributions, you're going to get $520,000 one-off payment. And lastly, if you have 700 to 749 contributions, you're going to be given a $650,000 one-off payment. You guys can enjoy the video.
Yesterday, Barrett had his press conference and he mentioned that me and my thugs went off and chased a drone operator that works for Sheriff Security and Daily News. He said we went off and we ran the man's car from the back. Now that is total lies. This man is such a pathological liar, right? We have the proof what transpired on Sunday, and we'll show you the truth in this same video. First thing is, Jagdeo, you don't address people as thugs. Those persons are my employees. They are citizens of this country. You need to choose your words in a better manner. Don't address people as thugs, Barrett. These are human beings. You should have respect for the people of this country. The next thing is, you accused us of ramming into Nathan Prince's car. That is not true. You need to get your facts right before you put things out in the public domain, Barrett. This is not right of you. I'll show you guys what transpired shortly in this said video. Nathan Prince, PAJ 870 is registered in his name. It's a black Toyota Vitz. He reversed into one of my guys' car. That is what happened. We didn't ram into no one's car. We don't do such things. There was a live where over 1 million persons viewed that live. They saw everything that transpired. But this man is so deceitful. You understand? He's so deceitful. But people are seeing through you. They're seeing through you as clear as crystal now. So I don't know if you think you're going to continue to fool this nation. That won't happen. That would not happen. Certainly that would never happen. Thank you.
You don't pick up a bunch of thugs and drive down the road and hit the guy's vehicle, ram his vehicle.
Dr. Jagdeo Cordell Jones from Livewire News. Azadin Mohamed has made a claim that you and the Attorney General are targeting him and his family. Could you give us a response to that? And also, following up on my colleague's question about the gold dealership, do you think there's a possibility that some of these dealers may be buying gold on behalf of probably the Mohammeds or other individuals who might want to export said gold?
So, Anil Nandalal dealt with that matter directly. So every week the Mohammeds claim that we're focused on them on the my press conference, which is not true. It did not happen until they came after the PPP. I had for a long time said, I defended their right to go around the country, to take pictures with whomever they want, post their pictures. I defended right here their right to do that. Because we knew they were criticizing the PPP underground, but they had not formally done so. I said, if you come after the PPP, we'll respond. But I've noticed quite a bit in the public domain, and I think it's a smokescreen. All that you're seeing there is a smokescreen for the Mohammeds not to answer two questions. One, did you smuggle over 10,000 kilograms of gold between 2019 and 2024? The United States of America sanctioned you. They supplied information that you smuggled 10,000 kilograms of gold through the United States of America in this period. They claim that you have over $11 billion of taxes that you evaded. The Mohammeds talk about everything under the sun, but they never would talk about that issue. Nothing, not all their influencers who they're paying, and the trolls that they've hired, and everyone else, and some mainstream media like News Source and all of them. They don't address that one issue. The single issue that led to the sanction by the United States against the Mohammeds. The US ambassador said, we have a mountain of evidence. They're not addressing that issue, and that's only for the period between 2019 to 2024. Will they answer that question? Everything else is a smokescreen. Oh, we're being victimized. We're treated badly. It's all kinds of Jagdeo's vindictiveness. But would not answer that question, which is the key question as to why they were sanctioned. Secondly, they would not answer the question on the vehicles. Now, they claim in this case, after the vehicles, GRA attempted to seize the vehicles, after the GRA had given them almost 3 weeks, first of all, 14 days to explain why he declared the Lamborghini at $75,000, that's the acquisition cost, but he said publicly that he paid $1 million for it. He published that he paid $98.6 million for 3 vehicles. He published his own TIN number. He published the receipts of the payment on Team Mohamed's page. So nobody, GRA didn't release his information. He released the information. And that's why I'm saying this guy is extremely stupid. Stupid. And his father will not deal with that. He makes it a conspiracy against them, etc. But it was his son who, in the public domain, that unsolicitedly, because somebody said, oh, you don't pay taxes, he went and put how much he paid, and he put all of his receipts, the TIN number, etc. The GRA 2 days later, they didn't get a call from Jagdeo who said, is that all you paid? Well, here is the new assessment. He released it. And we have a voluntary compliance system, and the GRA can do post audits anytime. In fact, how many other people are not faced with that? I know an importer that imported vehicles a couple of years ago and has to pay now over 300 million in taxes because they underdeclared. The GRA found out 2 years later that they underdeclared. So it was his stupidity that triggered that, not because the father is a real notorious liar. He said, Nandalal and I met with and told him that if his son runs, we want a statement or else we'll send GRA to collect the taxes.
Given all that's been happening and all that you have said, would you deny, or can I ask you if there's some kind, first let me say what is happening. The government and the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Revenue Authority have not been able to execute in any way, shape or form against the Mohammeds. The Mohammeds has been able to leverage their ill-gotten gains and are now maneuvering opposition supporters. A lot of legal pundits.
Your contention is wrong, because it is because we have complied with the spirit and the letter of the sanction that they are upset with the PPP, because somehow they feel that the PPP must protect them and all of their businesses in spite of the sanctions and put at risk the lives and the future of the people of this country. And
Dr. Jagdeo,
no, you'll get a chance to
that this is a game, because they're seeing how the Mohammeds are maneuvering opposition supporters. So people are suggesting this is all a game. Some people are suggesting this is all a game, and somehow the Mohammeds are being used by the PPP to disillusion opposition supporters.
Well, their entire vitriol is against the People's Progressive Party, the Mohammeds. Secondly, if you look at the social media and the people who are reporting, even Rickford Burke, who was a couple months ago saying they had, you remember the cabotage issue? Saying we're in bed with them, he now has a favorable view of them. The entire opposition media that historically criticized the PP, they're there supportive of them. So coming back to what I was saying, I was speaking about they feel that we must protect them at all costs, in spite of all the sanctions, their tax evasion, etc. But this is not new. In 2022, I made it clear how we will act against people who commit illegality. And I called Azruddin Mohammed's name in 2022 when they were so-called cozy with the government, as Apnu said. I called his name publicly in a press conference, and I said, we will not condone any illegality, because if he is involved in murdering anyone, he would face the consequences. That is what I said, because at that time they were trying to drag us into this issue. 2022, I said that. I called his name. It was long before he even started the Facebook profile that he had. Maybe. I don't know, but that was since then. And now, we kept to our word. The PPP will not condone it. So we've proven the opposition wrong, and now they are in bed with the Mohammeds through their trolls and through engagements with them, their support. Now they've gone silent. They've gone silent on him. You notice that? They've gone silent. So we made it, you said about we're not taking action. We said right at the beginning, when the sanctions were announced, the same day, we met with the FIU and the central bank, and we said, is our system exposed? Because we could not run the risk of all Guyanese suffering because of the Mohammeds. And that was what was going to happen. So we said there has to be an orderly disengagement by the state from the Mohammeds in compliance with the sanction, both the spirit and the letter of the sanction. We had to do that. We then, the cambio license was suspended. Recently he said we suspended his cambio license because we're vindictive. So he must be allowed, contrary to sanction, to have a cambio license and to have an accounts in the banks, and then put at risk the entire. We get one sanction, all the banks in Guyana are sanctioned by the US. You can't conduct business with the US. What would these exporters do? What would